Hello and welcome to BikeSocial. We're here on the Isle of Man for the Classic TT 2018 and this is episode 2. There are 2 races today, the Bennetts Classic Senior TT and the Dunlop Lightweight Classic TT, both over 4 laps. And the competitors are fighting for these. In the meantime, we pack Chris off to help one of the riders out.
Maria Costello tweeted out the other night that she needed help with her pit board in a Senior Classic TT race. So we've popped down to her motorhome to see if we can help her out.
Okay, so last year I left getting pit boards organised till the morning of the race. John McGuinness told me off, and rightly so, because I actually need them and they can make the difference. So I've put out an early plea, so thanks for coming along. Now, I've only ever helped with the pit board once, so I'm not really the right person to ask, but I know where people normally stand. You could go to Craigna Bar, that's probably a good, easy access place, and there'll be other people doing boards there.
Do you want me to take it from the sector before, I guess?
The app's supposed to be really good.
Okay,
I guess if you've got somebody helping you with doing that side of things, because it does get a bit hectic. You know, it's you think you've got like 20 minutes, but that soon goes. So.
We're down at the Craig now. Maria and the rest of the racers have just set off down Bray Hill. She's currently sitting third, hoping it, you know, she takes advantage of that. When she comes past, we've got to give her a position and her advantage. So we're just waiting for her to go through the bungalow, and then we'll get racing. So Maria's currently sitting P3. We just told her that she's got an advantage. Was it +4?
Yeah.
To 4.3. So
over the rider behind her.
Over the rider behind her. And it's John McGuinness leading the way from... Who's second on the road?
Jamie Coward.
Jamie Coward. So yeah, looking good out there.
The live timing app on the Isle of Man TT website gives you loads of information, obviously the rider, the number that they are, the lap time. We can see here that Maria's running 3.8 seconds behind Lee Johnston.
We're on to lap 3 now. Maria, she crossed the line and the commentator said that they heard a bit of a misfire. She dropped to P5. She went past. She's coming in this lap, so we gave her the in-sign, but she was shaking her head as she went past. So hopefully it might clear and she can crack on in the final lap and get back up there. Cool, so Maria, it's gutting to see you down here, not covered in champagne after that race. What happened at the end of lap 3?
So at the beginning of lap 3, actually, I lost top gear as I went to go down Bray Hill. Thought it was me, you know, not changing gear properly, but it wasn't. I'd completely lost it, and then I lost another gear, then another gear. So yeah, I kind of got back round, don't know how, and but that was race over. Got back into the pits. You can't carry on like that, and race over. So yeah, very gutted. I just want to say massive thank you to Peter and Barbara for bringing the bike over all the way from Switzerland. You know, it is a beautiful bike, and we've just been unfortunate. I think if we'd had more practice, maybe that would have shown up in, you know, practice, and we could have avoided it in the race. But hopefully I'll get another shot at it. And thank you for doing my pit board. I couldn't see it.
That's no worries at all. We loved it. We had a great morning, and it's just obviously a shame about the result. But how was our pit boarding? Was it as awful as it looked?
No, it was fine. It was fine. And like, you did everything I said. You even gave me the pit in on the last, you know, the third lap. So no, good job. Let's do it again next year, eh?
Fantastic. We'll see you then.
So like we've already said, there was plenty of practicing and plenty of racing going on today. But there was one very, very special tribute lap. And it was John McGuinness dressed in some replica Mike Hailwood leathers on the original 1978 Ducati. Steve Plater caught up with him before he set off for his lap.
John, you've got to be looking forward to this. Obviously, you're dressed and suited, ready to roll, you're looking good.
Yeah, we got a bit of effort to try and get the suit right, the helmet right, and you know, you've got to do it some justice. Riding them, got to be one of the most famous bikes on the planet. You know, 40 years ago since Mike did it, 11-year break, and to come back, I don't know how he did it. You know, I was away for 2 years and come back, and that was really, really hard to win a 500 race, but to win a big bike race on the Ducati, fair play to him, massive respect. And you know, sun's shining on us now. You know, I've got the gear, I've got the bike, and hopefully we can get stuck in a bit.
Mate, they're getting that warm, you better get on it.
Cheers.
Michael, you've been moaning and moaning for the last few days about the weather and various things. I know it's natural for you to moan, but you know, it's finally a race day. You've got a bit of a smile on your face, and are you feeling confident?
No, not really. That's why I'm smiling. You know, I'm so glad I haven't got a chance of, you know, winning it really, because it's just, well, when I went out on the superbike then it was just dodgy conditions, but I know it's going to probably dry it up a bit, but I think you need to go hard on that first lap to try and win it, so we're just going to hopefully just try and finish. That's our aim, that's what we want to do.
A wise old man. Thanks, mate.
Thank you, cheers.
Philip McCallum on 11 TTs, you know, I've just been having a good chat with Ian Locker there before he goes off down for the start of this Senior Classic TT. How is it, being as competitive as you are, you're not donning a set of leathers and having to go at this race?
Well, it's just funny when I stopped racing, I just said I would stop racing. And many times, probably like yourself, I've been tempted to come back and all, but for me, just, you know, I've stopped and that's it. I'm really enjoying it. I enjoy coming here. I enjoy watching everybody, talking to people like yourself, and just having a good time. And I'm just trying to stop that urge to go racing again, because I just don't believe, for me personally, when I've stopped, that I should start again. Because in my mind, I'm still competitive, you know, and I think I could win. But I don't want to be put to the test to prove I have to win. So I'm just enjoying it.
Great to have you here, mate. Let's go and enjoy the rest of this race.
Thank you, Steve.
Gentlemen, it's a spectacular view behind us to end a spectacular day of racing and practice. It's been quite a packed day with all sorts going on at the moment on this Saturday here in the Isle of Man at the Classic TT 2018. You saw Bruce Anstey out on a parade lap earlier on, which was fantastic. Steve, what was he riding?
Yeah, he's on the RCV. He's been kind of wandering around all weekend, obviously looking at his race bikes from last year, and I think with a little bit of a bottom lip out, but it was great to see that man out and everybody shouting and cheering and clapping around the lap.
Yeah, fantastic. Very great to see him. Chris, first out of the traps today was the Bennetts Senior Classic TT. What happened?
Yeah, we actually managed to head up to the Craignabar Bar pub to watch it, which was a bit of a first. And yeah, John McGuinness took the victory, and it was a bit emotional, really. You know, we all know how hard he's worked to get back there after 15 months out. So to see him sort of take that top step on the podium again was absolutely brilliant. And then second and third, it was a real ding-dong battle throughout. It was Jamie Coward who finished second, and then Lee Johnson third. So yeah, it's brilliant to watch.
Yeah, great stuff to see John back in action. Steve, you caught up with him afterwards, and he came with some real gems for you, didn't he?
Oh yeah.
Shall we see what he's had to say?
John McGuinness, what a day. Back after 2 years and back on the top step of the podium. When he came over the line, how was you feeling? Was it emotional? Was it kind of a sigh of relief?
Yeah, it was a bit of both, really. I got a bit teary-eyed up on the mountain, going up the mountain. I thought, last lap, I thought, oh, if it all keeps going, we're going to pinch another win here on the Isle of Man. And then I thought, come on, John, get back into it, because you just got to hit the apexes. You're a long way to go, you know, like all them, you know, difficult corners up on the mountain. And you know, I didn't want to over-rev it, so I only revved it to sort of 9.5, 10 instead of 11, and I really enjoyed it. You know, to be fair, it was when it's like this, we've had a rough week. You know, lads have had a rough week. A lot of lads not in practice, and we only had 4 or something. And but when the sun shines and you're hitting all your spots on that bike, it's great. You know, and it's probably not a bad bike to do it on. You know, instead of riding a big bike and getting a bit wobbly and a bit out of shape. You know, because I'm not. To be fair, I'm not mega bike fit at the minute, so it was the perfect bike to ease myself back into the job. And the icing on the cake was to win it. I think, you know, it's it's been a funny old roller coaster the last few months, to be honest. I've been dashing about getting my my ACU license, been, you know, super stock biking back at van, faffing about, but going back to grassroots, and you know, all I had in my head was winning the 500 classic race all the time, and get my license, get back on the bike, get on the mountain circuit, try and win that race, and yeah, we've done it. So perfect day.
Perfect day, you know, and obviously you probably know what my next question is going to be. You put that to bed now. That's all history, and a great history, of course, like the rest of it, of your career. But what about the future? What are you going to look forward to now? Obviously, we're in the end of August, it's Bank Holiday weekend, but are you planning various things for 2019?
Well, I've got a deal. I've got a contract with Norton, so you know, it's looking like we're going to have to stand on, aren't we, and do it. Yeah, it's a really good question, and it's one that just today was probably a day where I probably realised I could probably still do it a little bit, you know, and it probably wouldn't be, you know, if you were going to retire, now's the perfect time to say something, innit? But I never really want to retire. I know people have said they've retired and they come back, and I always think you look a bit daft, you know. So I always think, well, keep my gob shut and see what happens. But I want to be on the grid on that Norton. To be fair, I'd love to lap the circuit at them 130, 130 plus, 132, 3. I just don't know, but I need to get myself strong. I need to get myself bike fit. Those 4 laps I did were tiring, you know. I know it's only a little 500 thing, but they're still 140 mile an hour, and you still got to wrestle them through them bends. And at the end, I was just blowing a little bit, you know. The old belly was resting on the tank, and I was blowing a bit. So that's what I've got to address and tidy up. And if I can get myself in decent shape, I'm sure that I could maybe come back to the TT and go okay.
You know, earlier this year in June at the TT, we saw some incredible times, being helped by the weather without doubt, but those boys still lifted their game and achieved some fabulous times and great new records.
They did, and it's, you know, the proofs in the lap times and the speeds they're doing, you know. And I've studied it, I've watched it. You know, you can see the pattern forming of the guys who are really, really fast here on the Isle of Man. And you know, if you're not doing BSB or some sort of championship, then you've no chance of winning a TT. You know, Dean Harrison and Hickman and that, and even Connor and a lot of them are doing these British Championship. You can see that it's really, really sharpened them up there. But I know what I've got to do. You know, I'll do the same. I can look at some sort of championship. If I'm riding week in, week out, I'm sure I'll get back to where I want to be. And whether I can ever, if there's 135 mile an hour lapping me, I don't know. You know, I've been around 132.7, so with a little bit more effort and a little bit more of a push, maybe into 134s. But you know, sometimes TTs are won at a slower pace. You know, I just won that classic race at 110 mile an hour, and 2 years ago I did 113. So you've got to be clever. You've got to get the bikes to the end and stuff like that. So, but that's given me the bug again. You know, to stand on that podium a couple of hours ago, whatever it was, and you know, I heard my national anthem play. Looked up at the grandstand, had the silver lady in my hand. You know, it's just there's no better feeling. There just isn't. And you know, I even got a spin on the Mr. Hailwood's Ducati as well, which was another level of something that doesn't happen every day. You know, 40 years since he won, and to ride his famous Ducati, and you know, it's just an amazing day. I'll never forget today, I don't think.
Last question, of course, you know, I've just said it's August Bank Holiday weekend, and is this the last meeting of the year we'll see for John McGuinness, or will he be heading out towards Macau this year?
Yeah, the Macau job, it's a little bit delicate at the minute at home with that one, to the missus, but I'm a racer, that's what I do, that's my job, you know. A track's a track, you know, you ride them accordingly. I've done many laps around Macau, went there for 18 years on the bounce, and you know, I missed it in 17, so I've been offered a real good bike with some fantastic people, and you know, I have to get around. I fancy doing it, I really do. I have to have a little nudge at the missus, maybe I have to take her this time, I don't know, you never know. But I'd like to do something, you know. I'm going to Goodwood, do the Goodwood revival on that Manx Norton, and then have a look at doing some bit more riding before the end of the year. I want to get out my Norton, definitely need to ride my Norton, and then, you know, if Macau's, you know, if I feel happy enough and ready for Macau, we'll go.
Whatever you do, mate, have a good one and keep up the good work.
Cheers, Steve, thanks.
Yeah, great stuff there. And then this afternoon we saw the Dunlop Lightweight Classic TT. Steve, you followed the action. What was that about?
I followed my nose, you know, the smell of those 250s, absolutely fabulous, you know, flying down the Glencrutchery Road. But You know, as I expected, between the Yamaha and the Honda, Adam McLean has been going from strength to strength this season, doing a great job on the 250 and led that race for a while. Lee Johnson finally taking over, you know, on the Paget's Honda. That's 3 in a row for Paget's Honda. A second win for Lee Johnson. And no lap records this year, but obviously that will keep Bruce happy, bless him. But great to see Mr. Ian Lockett, the old, not has-been, still been, on the podium with them.
Good stuff. Chris, you caught up with Lee just after he stepped off the podium.
Yeah, I managed to grab him. He quickly tried to scurry off, got out of his levers, so we quickly made him put some new sponsors on and we had a chat with him.
Let's see what he had to say.
Lee, you just stepped off the podium after a mega race win there. How was that for you?
Yeah, one of my childhood dreams, to be honest. I've always wanted to ride a 250 around here and I've talked about it for a few years, and thankfully Clive Paget, he's made that come true. Yeah, so really, really special. Really enjoyed it, and mega race. The conditions were really good, dry all around. Few accidents and stuff, few yellow flags, but mega job by the marshals getting that all cleared up and keeping the race going. Just hope everybody's all right that did slip off. So yeah, all in all, really good.
Mega, cheers mate, thanks.
One of the most important organisational cogs in the TT wheel is the clerk of the course, Gary Thompson, and he comes in for a fair amount of stick when the weather doesn't go everybody's way. It's not that fair. Anyway, we sent our reporter Rachel Clegg to have a word.
So, just tell us a bit now, we're in race control. Obviously we can see the mountain, we can see Glencountry Road. What happens in this room exactly?
This room is kind of divided into two. So this area here, once the roads are closed, this is where we control a practice or a race from. In the event of an incident, the marshal will press the button on his orange button on his radio, which gives him priority airtime to relay any information on an incident. And then when that happens, I've got to then make the decision whether the session needs to be red flagged or whether we can control it under waved yellows or stationary yellows, etc, etc. In the centre of the room, we've got the emergency services, so we've got support from the police, the fire service, the ambulance. We've got access to 2 Air Med helicopters. I've been clerk of the course for 8 years. Before that I was deputy clerk of the course for a couple of years, and it all comes with experience. You know, when it goes wrong, you know, it can go desperately wrong.
How do you deal with that stress?
You know, you just got to keep calm and, you know, be aware of the infrastructure you've got around you and manage the incident as best you can.
But you're used to stressful situations, aren't you?
In 1996, I was in Bosnia and I had to crawl into a live minefield and rescue a little boy, and that was pretty stressful.
And a lot of people, the Classic TT has got this lovely festival atmosphere and there's all these wonderful classic exotic machines. All the big riders are here. But actually, for you, is it just as stressful as the TT?
I've got a good team in here. We've worked together now for a number of years, and I know a lot of the riders. They know I'll only put them out in the best possible conditions, and I think there's a mutual respect there, and you know, that only comes with over a period of time. This event, although it's not as intense as the TT, it's still an enjoyable event to be involved in.
How do you keep the racing exciting and competitive and close while having a Manx Norton on the same race as a pattern? Or how do you balance the exoticism of the machinery and the reliability of a modern machine?
Every bike has to adhere to the technical regulations. We do try to make those technical regulations as amenable and as flexible as we can. It's getting that right balance to be able to put on a fantastic show, but at the same time making sure that we've got a set of regulations in place that we can police to make sure that the playing field is fair for all.
And those regulations are more clear now than they used to be, are they? Because it seemed like they were more open to interpretation a few years ago.
We've tightened up on the regulations, but not to a point where they've become unworkable.
Very soon we'll have RS250s, TZs, you name it, flying down here in a few days' time.
When the roads close at 5 o'clock, we then set off the Classic TT Superbikes and the Classic TT Lightweights and the Manx Grand Prix Seniors and Juniors.
Oh well, all the best. Thank you.
Well, it's been a memorable and action-packed day here on the Isle of Man. And coming up in tomorrow's show, we head to the north of the island for the Festival of Jurby, and we also pack Chris off, who volunteers to be a marshal for the day. Thanks for joining us.